Hello YouTubers and fellow hams. Marine weather fax is the subject today. Now, most of you should be familiar with fax machines. They're a pretty common sight in the office. Back in the early 1900s, fax machines were completely mechanical devices. Most fax machines used a rotating drum. As you can see in this image here, the machine had this drum, and they would put a piece of paper on it that had a silvery coating on the side. And then resting against the paper was a needle. And this needle would be electrically charged, and the charge on it would vary based upon the incoming tone's intensity from your radio or over the telephone lines. So the stronger the tone, the higher the electric charge. And when the electric charge was high enough on that needle, it would burn a line into the paper. So the higher the tone, the higher the charge, the darker the line. And the drum would rotate. And as that drum rotated once around, the needle would move over slightly down the page, just one scan line. And then the drum would rotate around, another turn, and the needle would move over. And so you would build an image line by line by line as the needle moved down that paper. Now the fax transmission sounds like a swooping tone with a solid high-pitched tone and a tick, 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 tick going on at a much lower frequency. And that tick, tick, tick is a sync pulse. That would be the equivalent of one rotation of the drum in the old mechanical fax machines. Now, facsimile is still in use today. It's primarily used commercially by government and weather service sites like our NOAA here in the United States. They have stations that broadcast weather maps, information, satellite images via fax on the HF spectrum. And we're going to receive some of that today. Now let me pull up a couple of websites to show you. First off, Black Cat Systems, who makes scanning software, has a nice page on receiving these facsimile images with some information and some broadcast schedules for various weather marine stations. Now, they only have a few, but they have the broadcast times and descriptions of what they're going to be transmitting. So it's kind of a useful page. I'll put this down in the link or the video description down below. But there's also a document published by NOAA under this link, os/marine/rfax.pdf. And this PDF file is sort of a complete listing of all of the stations around the globe in different countries that are broadcasting weather fax data. And in each case, like here's Tokyo, Japan, they have complete schedules of what they're transmitting, what frequencies they're going to be on. So this is a really great document. It's updated pretty regularly. This update, I think, was in September. So several times a year, but here we go. Boston, Massachusetts, USA. The call sign of the station, the various frequencies it broadcasts on, what times they broadcast on those frequencies, and then a complete breakdown of what they're going to send and when they're going to send it. So like here's satellite image. Will be sent at 2151 Zulu or UTC. So you can see what's out there to copy. So anyway, what does it sound like? Well, I just happen to have the SDR running right now, and there's a fax transmission that we're receiving from New Orleans. And there you can hear it. You hear that high pitch? It's continuous, and then you hear that tick, tick, tick. That's the sync pulse. So how would we decode that? Well, FLdigi, one of the more popular programs with all the different modes it has in it, also has, under op mode, let me move this up away from my camera, there we go. Under op mode, WeFax, right there. Now you'll see that there are two choices, IOC 576 and IOC 288. And I think that has to do with the number of scan lines per page or image. And 576 is the format that most all marine broadcasts use. So if I select that, you'll see the controls here change. These are our different controls for receiving faxes. Now I'm going to enable the audio on the SDR. And you can see that we have that solid tone here and a pulsing sync tone there. And you want to center the right-hand side of the frame on that solid tone. And then it should figure out that you're receiving a fax and just start decoding it. There it goes. It's starting to draw the image. Throw it over here. There. Now you should be able to hear me talking over the over the fax machine. I hope that wasn't too terrible before. So anyway, what was I saying? Slant. In the early fax machines, as I said, both drums at the sending and the receiving side had to be going at the same speed, right? They had to be in sync. Well, we're not using mechanical devices, but even our computers will have slight differences in timing. You know, they're not going to be ticking off clock cycles at exactly the same rates. So even though we're hearing a pulse and we're knowing that we're doing a scan line, there's going to be a little bit of error. We might be scanning a little too far, a little too short. And what you'll end up with is a slant where each line is crawling a little bit more and more over to the side. So this slant adjustment here lets you compensate for that. And I've had to move this up a bit to get rid of, I had really bad slant earlier. This adjustment might have to be made per station, because each station's sending machine is going to have slightly different clock timing, right? So you're going to get a slant. So I might want to write down, when I get this straight, I might want to write down that slant number and associate it with the Louisiana station in a log, so that I know if I'm going to receive faxes from Louisiana, that's the slant that I want to use. So that's an adjustment you might have to make. This little button here, automatic image centering, in theory what that should do is, after the image is received, is it should shift it all over so that this black bar is on the right, so the image is centered in the picture. We can adjust that alignment here manually. There we go. Oh, it wants to put it there. All right, well, I'm going to do this. There. That's where I want it. So that's what a line does. Noise is a noise filter. I should turn that on, because you can see where the noise is creating all this grittiness. Yeah, there we go. That's much better. That noise filter will get rid of those speckles and give you a cleaner image. Now, once we've reached the end of the image, FLdigi will save it, and it'll report in this box here where it saved the file. There's a default location that you can change in the program's settings, but it's going to save the images out for you, and then you can go and there'll be a regular PNG file. You can do whatever you want with them. So I had that. No, I didn't have it under my video. Okay. So there you go. FLdigi does pretty well at decoding fax images. You can see I've still got a little slant going on. I need to move this even further. Let's try about 47. See how that does. I'll get that right. There are other fax programs, and some of them do auto slant adjustment. I don't know why he hasn't done that in FLdigi. Given that we have this nice black bar, it should be easy for the program to figure out where our slant is and straighten it out. I'm still slanted just a bit. Try there. 49. Now, I don't know what I'm receiving here. Let's see. We are... I guess I can look at the schedule, can't I? Boston, Massachusetts. Is that what I'm listening to? No, I'm listening to Louisiana. Oops. New Orleans. Okay. And it is 1842. So we are looking at 48-hour wave, periodic, and swell direction prediction. Oh, that must be what all these little arrows are, the direction and the swell size of the waves. I can see that, okay, that's Panama, and that's South America. Of course, that makes sense. This is New Orleans, isn't it? So they're going to center their map around the ocean area that's near them. Pretty neat, huh? Propagation's a little up and down today. But I hope you found this interesting, and if you have FLdigi, go out and decode some weather facts. It's kind of neat to see what's going on in the oceans. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Also, if you're not already a subscriber, click to subscribe. Join us on the Facebook channel for discussion about the videos. And if you'd like to help support this channel, please click to support me on my Patreon page.